Alright, so one of the OG creators of the Dragon Age series just dropped a brutal reality check on the gaming industry when it comes to AI. If your game leans on artificial slop for art, writing, or voices, players will punish you, and the numbers are finally undeniable. Let's get into it, boys. Shoutouts to Kotaku for the article. Dragon Age writer says generative AI will be terrible for game development. Quoting his words, "It should be treated like the virulent plague." We're going to get into this, but before we do, I would politely ask that you guys like and subscribe if you are sick and tired of AI seeping into everything that you love. Here on this channel, I like to cover this stuff every single day, so if you guys are as tired of this junk as I am, be sure to stick around. But yes, the article. David Guider doesn't hold back when explaining why Gen AI is so bad for game development. The co-creator of Dragon Age, David Guider, has said generative AI is a virulent plague and resoundingly condemned its use in game development, like anyone with any form of common sense would. Speaking to Games Radar, the former BioWare writer called the tech terrible at iteration and called the results of Gen AI soulless. GR spoke to Guider for the site's extensive investigation into why developers are so loudly against Gen AI, published earlier this month, and have now published an extended version of the Dragon Age writer's comments. Guider, who was lead writer on Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition, guy is an OG for BioWare, as you can see, because the original Dragon Age came out like back when I was in high school, has multiple issues with Gen AI, beginning with its basis in plagiarism. Quoting his words, "I think the fact that Gen AI is frequently trained on data regardless of whether creators or owners have agreed to have their data pillaged in this manner opens up any use of it to all sorts of formal legal issues. Even if one chooses to ignore the moral implications, which one really shouldn't, if we're not allowed to steal whatever we need, then the AI won't work as well. It isn't a very compelling argument." Mentioning the spate of AI-created assets finding their way into games, he adds, "Honestly, what does it help with? Does it make the work more efficient? Does it improve the work?" Later he says, "In all my time as a narrative designer, I've never once encountered a situation where editing an inferior product took less time than simply throwing it out and redoing it." But perhaps the standout point Guider makes is how the past promises of an AI future have been entirely flipped on their head. We are butlers to the robots rather than the other way around, which is something I've been saying on this channel for the longest amount of time. It wouldn't be so bad if generative AI was seen as more as an assistant, right? Doing the drudgery while leaving more important tasks for the worker, but we seem to be seeing more and more of the reverse. The AI is set to do the important work and the worker is around to clean up. Basically the WALL-E movie, but in real life. Guider questions how it can be possible to bug fix so-called vibe coding. What's the point of creating prototypes with AI when the final result is that nobody on the team has actually learned anything about how to make the final product? And yeah, exactly. That basically wraps up this article, and I gotta say, this is just another brick in the wall when it comes to AI flooding the marketplace of gaming. The way I see it right now when it comes to AI seeping into gaming and movies and etc. is that it's slowly welling up, and people just aren't paying attention to it right now because either A, they've got their own problems, or B, they simply don't care, right? When all of that wells up, it is eventually going to burst out into a massive explosion that people are only going to all pay attention to when it finally becomes a big problem, when a major studio releases something that is mostly AI made and it turns out to all be dog shit. It's gonna be like a dam that is actively welling up and bursting. And when one of the most OG of OG members of the game development studio scene steps in to say the exact same thing that I've been saying for the past, 5 months since I began this channel, I think that just goes to show off that, well, me and him and everyone else with any form of common sense, we're all right. We are all correct. We are all correct about the fact that AI is straight dog shit. But yeah, man, those are my thoughts. What are y'all's? Whatever it is, be sure to let me know in the comment section down there. That's gonna wrap this one up, boys. This is Jack Talks Back, signing out. You guys have a good one.